Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Everyone's ready? Today, throat chakra, emotional week, Capricorn month. So I was just sharing that today I don't know how it's going to be because I'm really tired. I've been the whole day doing meetings and organizing things, even for tomorrow and also for the next years. I've been organizing stuff for, of course, 2022, but also for October 2023, which is the next one. And I have kind of organized the thing, but I even arrived until 2027. So I've been organizing things for the next decade mostly. So that's very, very Capricorn rising. And yes, today is the new moon in Capricorn. So I put all that energy on working, which I like. So I have all my planning, and you are all involved in those things, most of them until August 2027. I really love to organize things. I feel like I get like excited when I organize things. So that's why I organize so many things in the long term. But I've learned that everything change, and I don't really care. I'm open to the changes, but I just love to organize. I have been reading the messages that you leave in the comments, and some of them has many questions, and so I just wanted to say that that many of them, most of them, I will be answering them for sure in the next 6 months, whenever it's needed. Okay, so don't worry. Okay. So in the meantime, I will be speaking about what it's concerned to us. Today was a weird day because there was a sandstorm in the morning, so everything is covered with a little bit of dust. That's what you get by living just across the street to the Sahara Desert. And one of these days, when the weather is great, I will go outside and make some transmission, some video going around the area in Giza, so you can know a little bit of the place if you don't know it. But it has to be early, so for sure I will be connected around my 2 p.m. So that's early for some of you. You will see it later. So I see also that many people are writing in other languages. So just to say thank you to you because of this. Some language I don't get it. I don't know in which languages. German. There's people that writes to me in German, and I don't understand German. So thank you if you are listening this in English. Thank you. Also, I see a lot of people from Romania, uh, uh, Bulgaria, and many other countries that are around. So thank you for writing, for the messages. Uh, yes. In Romanian, I just only know one word, and they are all the bad ones. First thing that you learn in a language is always words. So in Romanian, I only know the bad words. So the topic for today is help, which is something that is so hard for all of us to ask for. So let's go first, of course, with the etymology. And I will tell you why I use so much the etymology, because today's topic is help. And for me, etymology is something that really helps us to understand many things. And why is that? Because in the ancient times, the first humans, they had no idea how to communicate things that were in their minds. So the way in which they used to communicate the thoughts, the feelings, the abstract things, were about describing it by aspect and things that happen in the physical world. So when you understand the origin of the word, even if many times it's really difficult to go into the very origin, even if that is difficult, we can have a kind of an idea of what this really meant for the first humans. So we can have a better perception, a concept of why are we using this word today. So through thousands of years, by misspelling, mispronunciation, by confusion, by different ways of saying things, the accents, the slang, all these kind of things created like different languages, and but they all have kind of a similar root, and it's all about physical things. So this is why it's important to understand these words, because sometimes they give us an idea. Like, for example, yesterday I talked about what is purpose. So purpose is so philosophical, so abstract, that you cannot really get how to express what is a purpose. So they just, well, is something that is put ahead in front of you. So proposite, purpose is the word for something that is put ahead, in front. Yeah. So and that's how we say it. So the concept for today, help. So help in English, the word help comes from the Indo-European language that is help. Help. And help means to hold. It comes from the same word, hold. Help and hold is the same mispronunciation, which is to hold something. So what it means to help, when you are able to hold, when you are able to support something, to support something. Support comes from the Latin word to to put above. Support. Port means to bring, portare, to bring, and yes, and su is under. So you put something, you are under something that you bring to support. So related to this other word, eu, that originates ayuda in Spanish, eu originates in English, originates the word youth. Okay, youth. So so in Spanish, add youth is to move the one that is learning, to move to the one that needs help, also to the one that is in need of learning something. Okay, so it's also related to support someone that doesn't have all the tools, okay, because it's learning. So help is kind of support someone that is in the process of learning. Okay. So this concept is something really, really conflictive in our societies, because today the concept of help, of helping someone or asking for help, is related with this cultural idea that you shouldn't ask for help. You should be able to do the things by yourself. You have to get your own things in your own ways, and you have to be successful. So we have this misconception about what is help. So today in the blog, I wrote a lot about this. So I invite you to read it because it's much more detailed. But I will try to make a summary today about this. About the idea of why the concept of help is more a defeat for our present culture. Remember that in previous video, we have been explaining about how humans, even if we are individuals, we have been created with the concepts of clan, of a tribe, of a group, because otherwise in the past, in the ancient times, we wouldn't be able to survive, because we needed the help of others in order to eat, to sleep, to be quiet, to survive in the world environment. So this is why even today we have this subconscious idea that that we need others in order to survive in our life. So this idea of survival in a group together makes the next step of evolution in our societies, which is to live all together working in order to have resources. So we all need to work and do something. The idea of work, of labor, is that that in order to have the resources, and not talking about money, talking about food, seeds, about sowing, about harvesting, about growing the animals, right? Yeah, all these kind of things. All these kind of things. We need it. We need to work for it. And in this concept that was created through thousands of years, everyone in the group must do something to help the herd to survive. Okay, so there is no one that just was laying down and not doing anything. Everyone had to support. Everyone had to do something for the rest. So remember that after all these clans, all these families starts to grow and have much more resources, In order to administrate all this and for anyone to come and steal for them and have this fight, they create an organization in which they could secure this food and these resources. So they create the feudalism and the kingdoms. So king is the administrator, the feudal is the administrator for all these people to feel safe in what they do in the countryside. So for 10,000 years approximately, this system worked everywhere. So it was fine until around the 18th century, the beginning of the 18th century. We start with the Industrial Revolution. With the Industrial Revolution, all the people that used to live in the fields, they go to live in the cities to work in the factories. Okay, so this creates a population of people that used to live in the countryside to the burgos. Burgos, the burgs, are the cities. The Latin people, the Roman people used to call like that, burgos. So the bourgeois, I don't know how you say it in English, but the bourgeois people were then those workers in the 18th century that started to become from poor to rich because they accomplished to create much amount of resources by the factories. The concept of the bourgeois, the concept of the bourgeois started in the 14th century, mainly 14th, 15th century, when all the people started to live much more in the cities. But here in the 18th century will be the great moment when most of the people from countryside go to live in the cities. So a lot of people started to become bourgeois. Okay. So from this moment, when we left the countryside, there was no food, because before we were sowing the plants so we could have the food every year. But now everyone living in the cities. There was no sowing plants, there was no growing animals, so they had no food. They had to work for money to buy the food. So that's why the system of let's all help ourselves in the countryside to rise the food so we can eat every year, so we need the help of everyone, in the cities became the competition. Whoever works much more hours raise much more money, so you can buy more things. So the concept of competition begins even harder than it was before. So the thing is that in the cities, what started to happen is that the bourgeois started also to compete one another to try to succeed and to have more money, to have more success in their own factories. So they started to lower the prices, they started to produce with much more people. So they started to compete to grow their companies. So it was not about the natural bourgeois that were all these people that were working in their houses in the city, but that's how the bourgeoisie started to become something wrong, something bad in our common days. Before it was good, but then started to be a competition. So not helping each other as society, but to compete each other to grow. Remember that this system was always like this because of the feudalism. The feudalism came from all these thousands of years in this pyramidal structure, organizing the families. So now the feudal disappear and becomes to be the bourgeois. So what happened in this same century is that so many people living together, working so much, 16 hours and so on, and like slaves, and they had no food, they had no resources. So suddenly they all start a revolution. Here comes the French Revolution. So we start to do this. The population starts to take over the bourgeois. So the thing is, the concept is that how we lost the idea of help one another. Well, remember that in the countryside, we used to live in communities. So whoever work communities, you can eat, you can have food, okay? So remember that this concept is from the countryside, creating the communion of people, okay? So these communities created the idea of communism. It was not only in Russia that started this, it was all around Europe that created this idea to come back to live in communities in the countrysides. In the cities, you had not food. So in Russia was easier because they were having the Tsar still, and they had all these Soviets and organization in groups, in communities along the whole country. So it was easier to share this idea. Okay, so so that's why in the countryside they started to create this movement of living all together. But in the other side, in the burgos, the capitals, they wanted to be capitals. So that's capitalism. The capital is the head of the state, is where you control everything. So that's why in the capitals is where people started to compete, because there's no food unless you compete and have resources to find the food. So that's why in the cities, capitalism was the best system, because it's impossible to live like communism in a capital. Okay, so that's why the capital started to create this system of capitalism to grow up and to have succeed. So you can have much more things, you know. Okay. So what happened here? So what happened is that the capitalism said, no, it's not good to live like communism, because the communists are people that live in the countryside and they live with what they have, but they cannot have more than they already got, because they have to share it. They have to help one another. And in the cities, you have to compete. Whoever works better has more resources. So that's why the capitals started to be against the communities. Okay? And this is how the idea of helping one another is kind of a defeat for the capitalism. So let's think about this. How many of us are in this world competing to one another? Like, for example, how many are we, like, counting if we are doing all good in order to enlighten? How many of us are just trying to see if I'm better than that one, or if this one has better things, and who is going to arrive to the fifth dimension faster than other ones? So that's capitalistic spirituality, because capitalism is not about money. Capitalism is about competition. So capitalism is a philosophy of life. It's not economy. Economy is something different. Capitalism is philosophy. So this is why in the moment of the capitalism spreading around the world and becoming a system of the whole planet, the capitalism went to the schools, to the republics, to the religion, philosophy, everywhere. So we have capitalism in every one of the systems. So this is how we can understand that in this past 200, 300 years, we have been living through the idea that helping others, or asking for help is a defeat. It's like, it's not good because you have to succeed, or you say they have to work for whatever they want, or we say I can do everything by myself. I don't need help. I can succeed by myself. So people make this separation, like saying the communist people or the socialists are the ones that are willing to help others, even if the others doesn't do anything. And in the other side, people say the capitalism are the people that they want just to succeed, to have money, and they don't care about the others, and they said you have to work hard for whatever you want. And it's not like this. It's not like this, because what really is happening there is the competition. And now that is everywhere. It's in the communism, socialism, in wherever. Because when we all go to school, what we are doing is to compete one another and how many numbers we got in an exam. So this is why in all this time we have created this idea that asking for help is a defeat, even from my side or the other side. So in order to accept help and to be able to give help, we don't have to go back to the ideas of the communism in the past, because those communists in the past were related to the fields, to an old idea of how we had to be according to that specific situation in that time. But today we have changed. It's different. So we should not go back to a system that was talking about help. What we have to resignify is our concept of help. Not the system, help. So it's not about to come back to the systems. It's about to resignify, transform the philosophies of that system. So for example, myself, if you ask all my friends, for sure, that there is a lot of people that say, oh, you can tell that you are very socialist. And I said, no, if you ask my friends, I guess that I am the less socialist of all of them. And I am not socialist. I don't have those ideas. I am a humanist, which is different. And maybe socialism has some things there. But neither capitalistic, because I don't care. So So we usually want to classify people. So now we come back to the concept of what is help. Help is not to help someone and do everything for the other one. Help is not asking for help. It's not to ask for someone to do what I can't do. Asking for help is to learn a new way of doing it. And giving help to someone is teaching someone else how to do it in a way. Help means to teach or to learn. When I give help to someone, is to teach that person a different view so that other person knows a new tool to be free and do it by himself. If I ask for help, it's because I am asking to learn something new so I can do it better the next time and be free. Ask for help is not a defeat, it's evolution. The vibration for today is B. The statement for today is I am home of the truth. The code for today is webs. The echoes created by the resonance of its infinite fractalization originates from the cosmic pulses, create beautiful interweavings that design interconnections, like the waves of many drops falling in a calm surface of a lake. All patterns create unique figures, and united, we call them webs. These webs remain united between pulses and sounds, making all of them to coordinate, and the bonds between the distorted beings remain strong despite the differences. Let's go to the alignment. Every day I say the same thing. Today I will speak less because I'm tired, and no, never shut up. We sit comfortable and we close our eyes. Take a deep breath and focus only in your breathing. I become aware as I breathe deep of the environment I am finding myself today. And when I do it, I stretch the body, sitting comfortable in this space. With my imagination, I start to imagine that this environment becomes darker under the shadows until you realize that this is the night, and up in the skies you can see the stars. I perceive in front of me a fire, and I can feel its light and its heat in my face, my chest, and my hands. As I perceive and see the shape of the fire, of the flames, like snakes, with all the different tones of orange. Around me, around the fire, on my sides, I can see people seated watching the same fire. I recognize that the people around the fire are those who I have helped through my life consciously, and those who help me being aware of it. And in between of them, I find elders and the wise ones to whom I have come here to ask for help. As I watch the fire, I ask myself, am I able to ask for help? I feel free to help. In the light of the fire, I recognize the faces of those who I have come here to help, and the faces of those who came here to help me. Take a deep breath, and from my heart, I open myself to deliver this help. I recognize that this is my family, this is my clan, my community, this is my home. And it is here where I find the truth of my being. I take a deep breath and then light the fire with my singings. Take a breath and perceive through the fire the energy of help of all the others that are around me in the fire. And with my hands, I bring all of that to my heart, receiving this help. This is my family. This is my truth. I am the home of truth. I am the home of truth. I am the home of truth. And this truth is the teachings that I receive and the teachings that I give. And all of them are the tools that I use. I use. I use. Slowly, you start to bring this consciousness all around your body by yawning, stretching, and caressing. And each one at its own time, come back here and now. So the task for today, after this, is to write down these two questions. Am I able to receive help, to ask for help? I feel free when I give my help. And from there, you just write down and find out your answers. Thank you everybody for being there, and as always, see you tomorrow at the same time.